Come on, we can do better than that.
Hallelujah.
That's the thing I love about this ministry. We can joke, we can laugh. Yeah. But then we know how to get it in when we need to get it in. So that is. So don't mind us for the laughter. I want to just open up in a real quick prayer. Father God, I just thank you for your people, Father God. Father God, I just ask you to bless the minds and the hearts of your people, Father God. Yes, Lord. Father God, we send your word forth as you see fit, Father God, and we know it won't return back to its void, Father God. I ask that your word just fall in the fertile grounds of your people's heart, Father God, out of the trees, Father God, so that you can increase out to use me like you never used me before, Father God. We give you the glory, Father God, and we give you the honor. And we say in agreement at this time, say amen and amen. Amen. How y'all feeling tonight? Bless. I hope y'all feel as good as y'all look, as y'all looking good. I'm going to try not to be before you guys long. I'm going to try not to preach this thing, but I do feel like preaching. How many know that whenever you're chosen by God to use to bring a word on a Sunday or a Thursday Bible study, how the word hits you first. Mm-hmm. Many of us who ever talked before, we understand how the word deals with us first, and this word definitely dealt with me first. But I told God, I said, I'm gonna teach it like you want me to, but I hope I don't get too excited to preach it, because I feel excited in my spirit. I think it's going to be a blessing. By telling of the testimonies, I'm already sure that it's going to be a blessing to a few of you guys. But I just hope that it move you as they move me. So if you will, at this time, I want you guys to open up your Bibles to the book of Ephesians chapter 4. All right. And we're going to look at verses 17 through 24. So that's going to be Ephesians chapter 4, New Testament. And we're going to look at verse 17 through 24. And when you get it, just say amen. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 17 through 24. That's where we're going to spend most of the time at, but we're going to go somewhere else, but that's what we're going to be at right now.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I can let's go right. You gotta say amen. God, so we can be on one mind and one accord. You said 4 and 17, right? Yeah, chapter 4, verses 17 through 24. That's it. It looks like somebody in the background is looking for it. You got it, sir? Okay. And I do apologize because I should have brought my King James Version. I got a little bit of a different translation, but it shouldn't be too much off. It's already like got the Hebrew and Greek translation, so I apologize beforehand. And the Word of God reads like this. Therefore I say this and testify in the Lord, you shall no longer walk as the Gentiles walk in the futility of their thoughts. 18. They are darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them and because of the hardness of their hearts. They became callous and gave themselves over to promiscuity for the practice of every kind of impurity with a desire for more and more. 20. But that is not how you learned about the Messiah, assuming you heard about him and were taught by him, because the truth is in Jesus. You took off your former way of life, the old self that is corrupted by deceitful desire. You are being renewed in the spirit of your minds. Put on a new self, the one created according to God's likeness in righteousness and purity of the truth. Amen. So today we're going to talk about the new man. You know, a lot of times in church we hear that a lot, you know, the new man and putting things of the old to the old and, you know, walking in newness. But do we truly understand what that entails? Now, before we even get started, let me give you the definition of new. And all I get an understanding. Let me give you the definition of what new means. New means different from a recent, previous one, or in other words, a change. I'm going to say that again. Different from a recent or previous one, and then parentheses I got a change. So when we're talking about walking in our newness, or what Paul was sitting here teaching the church of Ephesus, because this is Paul talking, and he was teaching the church of Ephesus, which is the book of Ephesians. And he was teaching them about their newness. Obviously, there were some issues of them dealing with their old self, just like today, you know, we sit in church. We sit in church. Me too. But yet, we're still operating in our oldness.
Say that.
But yet, we're quoting and we're reading and we're reciting this newness, but we're not walking in it.
Hey,
So what I'm hoping today is that we bring enlightenment to that area, because it's one thing to talk about it and it's another thing to actually do it. And then before I even get started, let me just share something with you, because it hasn't been proven biblically yet. We haven't seen it. I haven't found it in studying. If Mom has, she can correct me right now. But we can't prove biblically that just your church attendance is enough.
Come on.
Wow.
Well, what am I saying? It's more than just showing up. It's more than just showing up.
Say that. Hallelujah.
Because I can sit before you guys here every time these doors open, but yet when I leave here, I can be still operating in that old me.
Come on. That's true. Come on.
Somebody missing it.
Come on.
Which is void. It's ineffective. So that's why Paul was sitting here addressing the church at Ephesus. Now, let's go back to let's go back here to verse 17. I want to look at this with you guys because I want to make sure that everybody get an understanding. Therefore, I say this and testify in the Lord, you should no longer walk as the Gentiles walk. So this word Gentile, obviously, he's not speaking to them. He's using that as an example. Like, we don't do like this, we do like this. We don't do like them, we do like this. So when I was studying this, God gave me that. He told me to look at that like how when we say the world, I don't like to really use the world. I'd rather use unbelievers. Because obviously if you're in the world, then you don't believe what we believe. That's why you out there and we in here.
Come on. Yes. That's true.
So even when it's church folks that still got a foot in the world and then a foot here, God says that's like being lukewarm. I'll screw you out. So I said that because some of you guys may know some people that say they Christians just like you, and you say, well, dang, something ain't right. We ain't the same thing then. And that's why Paul was saying here, like, you should no longer walk as the Gentiles walk. And that walk, you can take that walk out and use it for your understanding, use it as your lifestyle.
Amen.
In other words, your lifestyle shouldn't look like them. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
That's right.
Some church folks, by their lifestyle, I can't tell them different from the world.
That's so true.
And the world is saying the same thing. That's why nobody in the world going to rush to come to the church. They saying the church is just as tore up as we are. You guys say you believe in a higher calling of the God that control all this stuff. You guys walk around looking defeated half of the time. We look like we got more joy in our God than you got in your God. And they serving a God of temporary. We serve a God of eternity, but we don't act like it. We don't even look like it. We look beat up, toe down, shot up.
Oh my.
and Paul is saying, don't look like them. You looking just like them.
That's right.
And there's one thing that look like them, but it's a whole other thing when we acting like it. So here he is saying, you should no longer walk as the Gentiles walk. And then he says what? He says, in the futility of their thoughts. Now this word futility in the Greek, this word futility means emptiness. And then God gave me Psalms 94:11 when he gave me that. And that reads, the Lord knows man's thoughts, that they are futile or meaningless. So what is he saying? So he's saying you walk in and you want to look like the world, you're trying to look like them, and their thoughts are thoughtless. But you think you're doing something. Kids want to be like 50 Cent. Kids want to have it like Jay-Z, but don't know what the price Jay-Z paid to get that. Because if you knew, you probably wouldn't desire it.
That's true. You telling it.
I'm talking about the body.
Come on.
When I talk about the body. I don't deal with too many people in the world. I'm talking about in the house.
I hear you.
Our kids want to be like Beyonce, this and that. Do you even know what it was, the price that she paid? Because if you knew, you probably wouldn't want that.
That's right. Tell the
That's
truth.
real.
Tell the truth.
He said they're walking in the futility of their thoughts. Their thoughts are meaningless, like they're empty, like they're nothing. Matter of fact, they're foolish, but yet they thinking it's cool, and you thinking it's cool too.
Come on.
As much as I've been around ministry, I have never heard people say, I want to be like Christ. I don't never hear that. They can line our children up and say, who do you want to be like? If they're in school and you can record them and not be there, be the fly on the wall, our kids are saying they want to be everything but what they should want to be.
That's something.
This is just the truth.
That's it.
This is just the truth. But he said, we should no longer walk as they walk. Where is the new man? I used to think like that, Minister Isaiah. I used to lie. You know, when somebody cut me off in the car, I used to just get out ready to just fight and bang on them. That was the old man. And that's where my struggle is. That's why I use that. Because I get road rage. My wife will tell you, but I get ready to be the man. Jesus. That's why this word dealt with me personally. Because there's areas in my life where God said, you still looking like the old man. See, I'm transparent. I tell them myself. I don't have no problem because I'm secure in who I am now. I never said I was perfect, but yet I don't use the fact that I'm not perfect as an excuse to just be buck wild. I got a mind that think crazy stuff too. But in one of the fruits of the spirit is called self-control, and I'm learning to master that self-control.
Oh yeah.
So just because I may not say it, don't mean that I didn't even
Right.
think it. Because I know in the word says, "What a man thinketh, so is he." So mystery with all this, we're not perfect. We already said that. No one ever said we was, but yet still, like Paul told the church, you don't use that as an excuse just to do what you want to do. That's what a lot of people are using. Well, I'm not perfect, so then you just acting buck wild. But let me just explain something to you guys in the book of Romans. It said, those who know to do right and do sin, to him it is a sin.
That's it.
That's right. That's the word.
So if that's your way of thinking, I challenge you today to change your thoughts. I challenge you today to renew and transform your thinking. And that's part of the problem. We haven't renewed and transferred our thinking. We still have a perception. We still think like the world, yet we're physically in the church. But our thought process, our thoughts are still like the world.
That's it. That is true.
God showed me that. He said it's the way you perceive things. You have to change your perception. If you don't change your perception, you won't even accept rebuke. Because you're going to look at it like it's doing me harm. Oh, the pastor's in my business. She's trying to put me on blast. Not even knowing that that's a setup for you to get better. But our perception, we come into the church with that kind of perception.
Come on, that's it. With our own.
That's why Paul is talking about where's the newness at? Where is the new you? Where are the new thoughts? Why are you still having those thoughts? I'm not on that level. I understand that too, folks, y'all, because y'all some smart people, so I know how y'all thinking. I understand that too. I understand we're on all different levels. But I refuse to sit in ministry for 15 years and still be struggling with the same little bitty thing that I should have been way graduated from 15 years ago. So if you want to use that as an excuse today, then let that be you. But somebody else that want to grow up, then let them grow up.
That's it, man.
You want to stay there, then stay there. Don't get mad at us for growing. You stay there. You stay there. People don't want to see you grow. Yeah, people don't want to see you grow. Oh, you holding it down now? No, I'm trying to get it right.
Come on, that's right.
People don't always have your best interest. You hear that? You hear us tell you guys that a lot. Y'all need to really get that. Everybody don't always have our best interest.
That's so true.
This walk in verse 17 expresses a daily conduct or lifestyle that refers back to what Paul has said about believers' high calling in Christ. Because Christians are a part of the body of Christ, we have been spiritually gifted by the Holy Spirit and edified through other believers. They should not continue to live like the rest of the ungodly.
Come on.
New means to be different. So why are we looking, talking, and acting like the world or the ungodly? That's a question that God asked me. So that's the question I'm going to ask y'all.
Thank you, Lord. Come on.
So why? Why? That's between you and God. Make it personal. They look how he said. Now look at what he says in 18. They are darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of what? Of their ignorance that is in them, and because of the hardness of their heart. So it ain't got nothing to do with the church. It ain't got nothing to do with the pastor. It's on you.
That's right. That's right.
That's on you. Well, the church ain't did it. The last time the word of God says, study to show thyself approved.
Come on,
Whoa,
that's it.
you might need to
That's
repeat
it.
that.
That's it. That's the word. That is the
See,
word.
the reason why I can teach this and preach this is because I was one of them. I'm a thinker, so I was one of them when I first came to ministry. I was like, well, the pastor ain't telling me, so then, like, I didn't take no accountability for my own. You know, my whole thing was that if it don't come from the house, then that's on the house.
Oh my God.
So I'm not just talking this talk. I'm talking from experience. And some of you may be thinking the same way. But let me tell you something. You're held accountable. When you stand before God, the leaders ain't going to be there.
Come on, that's right. That's true.
That's the one.
That's true.
And then let me just clear something real quick, because this is what it's about. We edify each other. You just heard that in the word. Amen. We edify. We build each other up. Let me just share this with you guys. A pastor's only job is to pour into the people.
That's it.
God told the shepherd, what? Go feed my flock. Go feed my sheep. Yes, so you need to come to an understanding on really what's the pastor's job in the house anyway. Because it's I know in this house, we got the type of leaders that go way beyond that. But that's not required by God. So some of us got that twisted. Because they do. So when they don't, we think they tripping. No. You need to understand what's the job. Because in the word of God, it says that if you sick and need prayer, it said, let the elders do it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's not the pastor. It's not the pastor's job. The pastor is to feed you, give you information, to nurture you, pray for you, which our leaders do that very well. But because of their heart, they go out their way sometimes. But that's not their job.
Come on.
Amen, son.
So you need to study to show yourself approved before the next time you want to say what somebody should or shouldn't be doing.
Come on.
No, that's real talk.
Amen.
That's good.
Because that's the problem. We come into the church with the wrong perception. That's why renewing and transferring your mind is so important. Yes. You can be full of the word. You can get hands laid on you constantly. You can come to church every time the door is open. But if your mind ain't renewed and transformed, then it's like pricking against a brick wall. There ain't nothing taking root. That's why he just said it in 18. He said they're darkened in their understanding. You are darkened in your understanding. And you're alienated from the life of God because of what's in your heart. Ain't got nothing to do with what preach on the pulpit. It ain't got to do about if you receive it or not, or if it makes sense to you or not. That's your responsibility.
That's it. That's it.
You gotta learn it. You better learn the word.
Thank you, Jesus.
You better learn the word.
Thank you, Lord.
You better learn the word.
That's it.
You better learn it. Because God showed me the perception of the people, even when they come to church, we have the wrong perception.
Come on.
I don't know how many, be honest with yourself, how many by show of hands when you first got saved and started coming to church, even before you got saved, you just thought everybody in the church had it together and was just living right.
Sure did.
See? See?
Mm-hmm.
See? And so as soon as you saw something, that wasn't right, the first thing you wanted to do was start talking and judging. See? But then what happened? But then you grew. You started understanding that we're all on different levels. You started understanding that there's a difference between saying that I'm free and actually being delivered. See, you have to learn all that. So now today, you may not necessarily judge people like that now, but you did at some point.
That's it.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You did at some point. You may not do it now, and if you're still doing it now, then after today you won't.
That's it.
Oh, that's good.
You should anyhow. So for those who believe that you can never be alienated from God, then you need to study verse 18. Because at this point, they were being alienated from God. And the word alienated means to be separated. The word alienated in Greek means separated. In the Oxford Dictionary, it means isolated. Many of us, we get mad at the church when it's really just us. And the first thing we want to do is isolate ourselves.
So true.
Do you know that the worst thing you can do?
Yep.
Because when you isolate yourself, then the enemy just torments you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Start filling your head with all kind of mess. That's the purpose of the isolation. Oh, don't think the enemy don't got a plan and purpose. He got a plan too. He love to get you isolated. I ain't messing with nobody. I ain't talking to my family. I ain't talking to the church. And they ain't nothing but bitterness talking. They ain't even you talking. That's hurt and that's bitterness. But you lack in understanding. The last thing you should do is be trying to isolate yourself. These people were alienated from the life of God. That is a very dangerous position to be in. We become spiritually separated from God, thus ignorant of God's truth, and their willingness, spiritual darkness, and moral blindness is the results. There's a results to things. Just like with God, he does everything with a plan and purpose. He don't just use the prophet to speak to us just because he ain't got nothing better to do. It don't work like that. Got to change that mind frame. We got to change the way we perceive this thing.
That's good.
And stop looking at everybody else and start looking at us.
That's it.
Paul said, I examine myself daily. I talk to people sometimes and they be like, examine yourself daily? What that mean? I'm like, dude, how long you been in ministry? How long you been in church? You the who? You in charge of what? And you don't know about examining yourself? Like, wow, I'm serious. I hear some stuff and I'll be like, wow. For real? But then if I pay attention to their fruit and their labor, I can see that they don't, because they got their eyes on everybody else.
That's true.
I see why you can't see you, because you see everything else but you.
Come on, that's right.
I be so stuck on me sometimes, I ain't shoot. I'll be like, I don't recognize nothing right now. All I see is my hang-ups.
That's true. So true.
I ain't got time to be tripping. I pray for you, whatever you need. But man, I know. I didn't know that about you. I'm too busy tripping off me. Did you know this about me?
Did you know this about me?
Let me share something. You thought you was doing something. Let me tell you something about me. Yeah, I'm too busy hung up on me. Did you know this about me? The enemy loves to isolate us and torment us, man. We've seen many people get tormented, demons prayed off from just in this ministry. That's the purpose of that isolation. And here we see Paul telling the church, like, you're going to be alienated because of the hardness of your heart. This is a heart thing, man. It's about your heart. It's about your heart. You can fake it all you want, but man, what's in your heart will eventually surface.
Come on.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And then it's even colder when God show you your true heart.
Yes.
There's a lot of times I thought I was at a certain place in my walk, and God showed me, oh no, slow down. The word of God says, let a man not think of more of himself than what he really is. Yeah, I can quote some scriptures. Yeah, I can preach this word, but yet I still got to deal with my heart. I got to still examine myself daily too. I'm not exempt from the word. The minute you start thinking you exempt from the world, man, you in for a rude awakening. And one thing I learned in ministry that my former pastor taught me, and my wife, because she was in the spiritual class too, is never invite God to humble you. It's best that you humble yourself. You don't want no invitations for God to humble you, because then when God humble you, then it's like in the book of Isaiah, when the Spirit of the Lord kept telling the prophet Isaiah, stop praying for the people, because I don't hear your prayers no more. I got to start dealing with them now. So you can get up off your knees praying, because I don't hear that no more. You don't want to get to that point. And if you think that you can't get to that point, then you're in for a rude awakening. That's why we got to examine ourselves. That's why we got to start walking in our doors. How many know it's a fight to live right? You got to fight to live right. You got to fight. Look, let me tell y'all something. I want to cuss people out sometimes too. I want to slap somebody sometimes too. I really do. I'm being honest with you guys. I really do.
You telling it.
But I know I can't. I mean, I can, in the natural I can, but I know I can't. And let me explain something to you guys. There's consequences and there's rewards. Just because you don't hear somebody say something, or just because you don't say it, You still think it, and it shows in your actions.
Ooh.
When the angel of the Lord told Sarah she was going to have a baby, she never spoke anything. She laughed it in her mind. And then when the angel said, why did you laugh? Why did you say that? Everybody was looking like, what did she say? Because she didn't say nothing in the natural. She thought it. So God hear our thoughts. Yeah, God hear them thoughts. Yeah, you do. He hear every thought you thinking. And I grew up thinking that my mom used to hear my thoughts. I used to be scared because she'd be like, and I know what you're thinking. And I believed that as a child.
Right, for real.
So I had to fight my thoughts when my mom made me mad. Like, ooh, man.
Right.
Because I know she can read my thoughts.
Right.
And I come to find out the devil is a liar. Only God can read the thoughts.
Right.
Actually, mothers have that.
It's that mother tuition. Amen. But that still comes from God, though.
Right?
I'm messing with you all. That still comes from God.
Take it away, trust me.
Amen. Still come from
The
God.
little boy that just came out of here. Y'all see that?
Still come from God. Still come from my daddy. My daddy still got a rubber around his neck.
God know that's right.
Now look at that 20. But that is now how you learn about the Messiah, assuming you heard about him or were taught by him, because the truth is in Jesus. So there it is. I know we live in America today where they telling us the truth is in everything, but what the truth is in. And there ain't no truth in all this other stuff that they talking. You just heard it right here. The truth is in him. You heard that before. So I don't understand why we thinking things are different now.
That's real.
Got Christians that's talking about it's okay with the same sex now. I'm like, wait, since when?
Slow down, bro.
Since when? Since when? This is the world we living in today. While we want to play with it and tiptoeing with it, they not playing with this stuff, man.
That's something.
They're being serious about this stuff, man. They're being serious. And when they start putting that pressure on the church, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna run and tuck your tail and just compromise, or y'all gonna stand on the rock?
Come on,
Well, then I suggest you start standing on it now, because at the time when all that stuff started happening,
That's
no,
it.
it don't work like that.
Come on, that's right.
It's just like they talk about this mark of the beast thing, and we know the word talking about it, and everybody like, well, I'll just wait till that happens. No, you better start standing for what's right now. Because when they start talking about you can't buy, you can't sell, you gonna be hungry, this and that, and your faith ain't in God, then now it ain't gonna be then.
Come on.
I like the way.
I mean, at least not everybody. Some people gonna start tiptoeing to the other side. Well, I'm gonna just go home and just take this mark.
Come on, brother. Spit that.
So I suggest you stand on it now. 21, assuming that you heard about him and were taught by him. 22, now watch this, 22. You took off your former way like that old self that is what? Corrupted by deceitful desire, and you are being renewed in the spirit of your minds. We were just talking about the mind. But some of us need to take off that old garment. We're still wearing it.
Ooh, that's it.
For what reason? I don't know. I don't know about y'all old man, but my old man was a mess.
Come on, that's it. Come on.
I choose this side any day.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
And in the natural, I have more on that side. But what I had in the natural or material on that side, I got spiritually. And at the end of the day, it ain't about... See, the world teaches a man is measured by his wealth. So we just look at people what they got. Look at the world. They just judge everybody on what they got and what they don't got. Let the world define success. They look at the bank account. Oh, he got 80 million. He's dressed nice. He this and that. Oh, he's a success. But he's a whoremonger. He a liar. He done unfaithful business. He lies on this. He lies. He shortcome his workers. He do all this dirt, but y'all praise him like he God. Not saying y'all was natural, but I'm saying the world. Because we measure man by the wealth. But in the body on this side, the new man, we not even supposed to be looking at that. That's cool to have, but if you ain't got God, if you ain't got holiness, if you ain't got righteousness, if you're not doing business legally, you're not doing business with the fear of the Lord, then we don't need no partnership.
That's right.
Why would I partner with that?
Come on, that's right.
If he can do him like that, what makes me think that he'll be loyal to me?
Come on, that's right.
But see, that's how the old me thought. But I don't think like that no more. Now the new man don't think like that no more.
Amen.
We got to put off that old former man and let's start walking in this new man. That's what? That's renewed by the spirit of your minds. Here Paul told them, put on that new self, the one created according to God's likeness in righteousness, purity, and of truth.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Lord.
What is it supposed to look like? It should be Christ-like.
Amen.
What should he look like? He should look Christ-like. Problem is, we don't know what Christ looks like. We have the truth staring us in the face sometimes, and we can't even identify it because we don't know what truth looks like. I'm going to give y'all these 4 characteristics from verse 17 through 24. These are 4 characteristics that Paul gave the church of the ungodly that we should avoid or forsake. For those who like to take notes. Number 1, the first one is the futility of your mind. We talked about that earlier. The meaningless thoughts of our mind. It's this unrenewed and transformed mind. We need to avoid that. That's like how are you in the church and but you got a worldly mind. That's because they've been renewed and transformed. So we need to avoid that. Number 2, being alienated from the life of God. That was verse 18 that we talked about. They were alienated. They were separated. Because of the hardness of their heart, not because what they were told or what they were taught or the church or the pastor or the members ain't calling me like they should. Grow up. So what?
Come on,
That's right.
Dang. Maybe they going through something too. If you spend some time with God, maybe he will drop in your spirit that they going through something too. Why don't you pray for them? While you waiting on them to call you, why don't you pray for them?
Right. That's right.
But we so selfish. Me. Only what you can do for me. It ain't nothing about what you can do for me, but only the other way.
That's right.
Number 3, past feelings, and that's in verse 19. And we talked a little bit about that on Sunday when we were talking about, it's hard to move forward, press toward the mark when we always constantly, but they did this to me, but they did that. You thinking this was yesterday. You ask them, when did this happen? They tell you, 10 years ago. I'm still mad at my dad. He was never in my life. How old are you now? I'm 47. When am I going to get over that? I'm still mad at my first wife 25 years ago. She left with all the furniture. Get over it. How you going to move forward when you're still stuck in these past feelings?
Thank you, Lord.
And the 4th one is the lewdness and the uncleanliness, which is down in verse 22, where it was talking about take off the old former self. And in this case, the church was dealing with a lot of sexual immorality, which we still are today.